Welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Sam Menzi, and we have a great show for you today. Before that, sorry about pressing the two buttons before that. Those were mistakes. I actually meant to go to the intro video instead, but we move on from that. We'll be going on. Our first segment today will be about the American League games of yesterday. Then after that, moving into the National League. For our third segment, we'll be doing an MLB draft preview. And then the fourth segment, we'll be talking about some news stories around the league, some injury and transaction stuff. Before we do that, though, I would like to ask you to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read in the air, please use the link gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get into the show today. All right, as I talked about, we are going to be starting the show off like we always do during the baseball season, to have two segments going over the American League and the National League games. So, yeah, let's get straight into that. So, we're going to be starting off our first game here with a little bit of Red Sox and Guardians in a very impressive series so far. Both teams have been really hitting the ball well. As I've said, both teams I've been very impressed this season, mainly the Guardians, who have been the best team in baseball so far, which nobody expected at all. So, they've been great. So moving into the scoring here, in the bottom of the second, it would open up with a Will Brennan solo home run, his third of the year, to make it 1-0 Guardians early in this game. Then in the same inning, Jose Ramirez would hit a grand slam, scoring Gabriel Arias, Stephen Kwan, and Tyler Freeman to make it 5-0 Guardians, just like that. I mean, an incredible start to the game for the Guardians. An incredible job by Jose Ramirez. He hasn't really been himself this year. Hasn't been awful, but hasn't been the Jose Ramirez we all know, and Jose Ramirez that is elite. So he's just been an okay player. So a really nice job by him to kind of get it going, and I think this home run could really put things back into gear for him for the season. Top of the third, Rob Schneider would get some runs on the board for the Red Sox, with making it a 5-1 game with an RBI triple. And then in the same inning, Wilyer Abreu would hit a sacrifice fly to make it 5-2. Top of the sixth, Dan Rafael would ground out to make it 5-3, and Jarren Duran with an RBI single to make it 5-4. So the Red Sox would not give up and would continue putting runs on the board. Unfortunately for them, it would not last, as in the bottom of the seventh, a pass ball by Reese McGuire would end up scoring Jose Ramirez, and also get an error on Reese McGuire's part for throwing. So a little bit of luck there for the Guardians would make it 6-4, and they would end up winning the game at that score. For the Guardians, they did have on the mound Tristan McKenzie, 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. Not great, I'd say. You wanted to go deeper into games. I feel like I'm saying that with all the pitchers nowadays. It's just a thing that has not happened this year. But overall, still only 2 earned runs to this Red Sox offense is pretty good, and I don't think it's too much to complain about. Again, you'd like to be better, but it's not. It's kind of a nitpick at this point. It's not something significant. So for the Red Sox, they had on the mound a opener in Chase Anderson. He won 1 2/3 innings pitched, giving up 3 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, 2 home runs. Obviously, that second inning really killed him with that Jose Ramirez grand slam and the Will Brennan homer. So not a great outing for him whatsoever. The bullpen after that, though, would be clear with no one else giving up home runs. You had guys like Brennan Bernardino, Cam Boozer, Greg Weissert, Chris Martin, Kenley Jansen, all coming in and having really nice outings. So good for the Red Sox bullpen, at least. For the Guardians, they had on the mound Tristan. Sorry, I just did that. I don't know why good win for the Guardians, and just a great job for them. Keep going this amazing season so far. I got nothing to say about it. It's pretty incredible. Next game we have is going to be White Sox and Twins. Twins have been getting off the men recently, playing really well against this bad White Sox team, as expected. When you are a team that is struggling, like the Twins, like the Astros even, we're going to mention it in the next segment, you have to beat these bad teams. When you see these bad teams in your schedule, for the Twins, it's the White Sox. For the Astros, it's the A's. Both 2 bad teams in each of these teams' divisions. You have to go like, okay, you know what? This is a game for us to get back on track. We see this team. We know they're not very good. We can easily beat them. We have the talent to. Let's do that. And that's what the Twins have been doing, and it continued in this game. Top of the second, the scoring would open up with a Kevin Pillar sacrifice fly to make it 1-0 Chicago. Then a Paul DeJong RBI single would make it 2-0. Bottom of the sixth, Eduardo Julian would get some runs on the board for the Twins, hitting his 6th home run of the year, a solo shot to make it 2-1. Then Ryan Jeffers would follow that up with a solo home run of his own, his 4th of the year, to make it 2-2. A Willie Castro RBI single would make it 3-2, and another Eduardo Julian solo home run would make it 4-2. Julian has just been a monster so far in his MLB career, and it continued this year. He's having a really, really great season, and he's going to be a big part of this Twins team going forward in the future. Bottom of the 8th, Carlos Santana would hit a solo shot to make it 5-2, and a Jose Miranda solo shot would make it 6-2. So a lot of solo home runs in this game for Minnesota. Again, a really good job capitalizing off playing this bad White Sox team. I think that's all they can really do. In the top of the 9th, Robbie Grossman would reach on a fielding error to score Nicky Lopez to make it 6-3, but they would not score after that, and the Twins would end up winning this game, thankfully, 6-3. They had on the mound Simeon Woods Richardson, who was really, really solid. 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Woods Richardson was a guy who a lot of Twins fans were relying on to be a big part of this rotation this year after letting some of your guys walk in free agency, like a Sonny Gray, and he's done a really good job so far, so props to him. For the White Sox, they had Mike Soroka, who went 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, a strikeout, and 2 homers. A really good start for him. Hasn't had a good season whatsoever so far, so nice job there to kind of get it back on track and have a good start for the White Sox. Next game we'll be talking about is going to be Royals and Blue Jays. This would be canceled after a rain delay, so it would only be a little bit. In the bottom of the 1st, Salvador Perez would hit a 2-run home run to make it 2-0. And on the top of the 4th, Ernie Clement would hit an RBI single to make it 2-1 Kansas City. But as I said, the game would be canceled after that because of rain, and the Royals would end up winning 2-1. Kind of got a break there. After 5 innings, they win the game. So unfortunate for the Blue Jays there, but it's what are you going to do, right? Yeah, that's kind of it. Unfortunate for them, I'd say. For the Blue Jays, they had on the mound Jose Barrios, who went all 5 innings, giving up 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, and a strikeout, a 1.23 ERA on the season. Has had a really great season so far. Had a rough first year in that big contract extension with the Jays, but after that has been pretty solid and a really good pitcher for them. The Royals had Cole Reagans, who went, again, all the 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, an earned run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Really solid start for him. Has been struggling a little bit this year. Not struggling where he's been bad, but you were expecting a lot out of him after last year, and he kind of hasn't been doing that, but he's still been solid. But this is a really good start, and I think if he can continue modeling after that and continue pitching really well, he can continue last year's really great appearances and pitch really, really well. That's, I think, what Royals fans are indeed hoping for. The next game we have is going to be Mariners and Rangers. Scoring would open up in the top of the 1st after a Ty France 2-run home run to make it 2-0 Seattle, scoring Julio Rodriguez. In the bottom of the 1st, Nate Lowe would hit a solo shot to make it 2-1 Seattle, and Josh Smith would tie up the game, making it 2-2 Texas. Of course, giving them the tie as Seattle was winning before. Top of the 5th, Luis Urias, I don't know why I said Arias, I apologize, would hit a 2-run home run to make it 4-2 in the top of the 5th, giving them the lead. Really nice job there. Since coming to Seattle, Urias has had an interesting start. Was kind of put in unfair opportunities, so we'll see what comes from it. In the bottom of the 7th, Marcus Semien would hit an RBI single to score Wyatt Langford to make it 4-3, but the Rangers would lose after that, and they would not score, making it 4-3 the final score. For the Rangers, they had on the mound Andrew Heaney. Heaney went 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts, 6.26 ERA in the season so far. I think Heaney was going to be a guy that had to play a big part of this Rangers rotation with all the injuries they've had, and just simply hasn't really done that so far. I think he needs to be better, and I think it's got to come pretty soon with all the injuries they've had and him being an aspiring free agent. So I'll be watching that, and I'll be seeing what does happen there with him. For Seattle, they had Luis Castillo on the mound. He went 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 2 home runs, a 4.15 ERA on the year for him. Not great, but I think it's better than before. Has had a rough start to the season, but I'm very confident in him that he'll get it going, and he won't be bad for the rest of the year. Next game we have, the final game for the American League, is going to be Athletics and Yankees. Bottom of the 2nd, Jose Trevino would hit a solo home run, his 2nd of the year, to make it 1-0 New York. Top of the 3rd, Nick Allen would hit a solo shot for the A's, tying it up, making it 1-1. Then the big blow would come in the same inning, top of the 3rd, with a Tyler Nevin 2-run home run to make it 3-1 Oakland, scoring Darrell Hernandez. Sorry, I apologize for I mispronounced that name. So a really great win for the A's here. I mean, they're 10-16. I didn't know if they'd have 10 wins by June. So really great job for them so far. I mean, they're not even last in the division. The Astros are, which is crazy to think about. So, hey, they proved a lot of people wrong. They're still not good, but in retrospect, we all thought they were going to be probably the worst team in baseball history. So only 6 games under 500. With that in mind, I don't think it looks too bad. The Yankees now still 17-9, but splitting a series with the Oakland Athletics is not something you want to do. It's not a good sign, and I think this offense needs to get going a little bit, especially Judge and Rizzo. Both haven't been awful, but both have definitely underperformed for what you expect from them. So I think you need them sooner rather than later to kind of step it up. For the Yankees, they had Nestor Cortez on the mound, 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. A good start, but you're playing the A's, and I think 3 earned runs and over 7 is a little too much against the A's. I understand after the third, nothing happened, but so it was only that 1 inning. But again, it's your opponent. I think you like to do a little bit better against a team like the A's than what you did here for Nestor. But still not a bad start, just kind of nitpicking a little bit. The A's, they did have Alex Wood on the mound, who was really, really impressive. 5 2/3 innings pitched, 8 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Still a 6.6 ERA on the season, but at the same time, keeps having starts like this, go down dramatically, and he could become a solid pitcher for the A's team, maybe even a trade deadline piece. So, not really what you expect from Alex, not really the season you want from Alex Wood, but had a really good start against a really good Yankees offense. So, hey, props to him, and congrats. Great start there. For the A's, they also had, closing out the game, the talk of the town nowadays, which was Mason Miller. Miller went 1 1/3 innings pitched, giving up 1 hit, no 1 runs, striking out 3, having a 1.59 ERA in the season so far. I mean, Mason Miller has just been incredible. This is a guy who was a top starting pitching prospect for the A's, a guy that was very heavily sought after in the A's organization as being one of their future starters. There wasn't a lot of great young talent there, but Mason Miller was always one of them. A guy who throws 100 consistently, has an elbow injury, and they're trying to limit his innings, but still wanted to pitch. So they made him the closer, and he has absolutely excelled in that role, throwing 101, 102, 103 consistently, striking out guys, getting some great saves. The A's don't have many save opportunities because they are the A's and they're bad, but when they do, Miller's the guy to come in. He does a great job. He shuts the other team down, and he's been the talk of the town so far. Having a great season, throwing the fastball really, really hard and good, and some other off-speed stuff as well. So he's been really, really great, and the A's are going to have a decision to make. Do you want him to be an elite closer or just a okay starting pitcher? Maybe they'll think more of him as a starting pitcher, but he'll have a really interesting decision when he comes back from this injury and can fully pitch the starter. We'll be seeing what's going to happen, but as of right now, he's doing a great job there and has been a great, great pitcher. So props to him, and really good job for the A's. They found someone finally. So that was the end of our first segment talking about the American League games from yesterday, all the action there. We'll be moving into our second segment here today, which is going to be talking about the National League games of yesterday, of course. We always open with those two, matching them up. So yeah, we'll be talking about that, and we'll see you after that. So thanks, and bye.
Feel like I'm losing my mind. 'Cause everybody